This is Mitch, and welcome to the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. I'm here with Edna Keep, and she's got an amazing story. I love these stories. She went from living in subsidized housing to becoming a multimillionaires, and I think that's the kind of stories we like around here. I don't know anyone who started rich. I know a whole bunch of people that started broke, and we're gonna, for some reason, that should be encouraging to you out there, because I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that are trying to find themselves and trying to find their financial future or even their financial dignity at this point. You know, sometimes, and I was at that point where I was just embarrassed of myself with what was going on. You know, I was way better than what I was achieving. Had a lot to do with mindset, but it also had a lot to do with listening to people that had already been there, so I could not have to reinvent the wheel and just follow in their footsteps. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to follow in Edna's footsteps and see where she started and where she ended up. So Edna, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Mitch. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you for coming on.
You're most welcome. It's my pleasure.
Okay, so I gotta pay the bills here. So stand by for 1 second while I tell the world about taxfreefuture.com. Okay, I want you to go to taxfreefuture.com, watch the 37 little video vignettes. It's all about opening up self-directed, tax-deferred or tax-free growth accounts where money can grow tax-free or tax-deferred. If compound interest was the 8th wonder of the world, then maybe tax-free or tax-deferred money might be the 9th wonder of the world. Go to taxfreefuture.com and check it out. You will not believe what your financial advisors are not telling you, because they don't make money to tell you the things I'm going to tell you. Okay? Taxfreefuture.com. All right, Edna, got that out of the way. Thank you for indulging me. Tell us a little bit about Edna.
So I think I got my driver personality from becoming a single mom at the age of 16 and being told that my future was limited. You know, you're not going to get anywhere in life. You're going to be lucky if you get a decent job, and when you do, just hang on to it for life.
I don't understand that, Edna. You've already proven to be an overachiever. I mean, who has a baby at 16? That's overachieving.
There you go. I took on the biggest challenge ever, right?
What did you call the girl a loser? She's having a baby at 16? What on it? Come on.
And you know, Mitch, my daughter actually works with me in real estate. She does my property management now, so it's pretty cool. We've stayed good friends, and we have a good relationship, so that's nice. I also have 2 more younger daughters that I'm hoping eventually come into the business. But yeah, I got told I had to learn to live within my means, which I never liked that. I very young decided that I didn't want to learn to live in my means. I wanted to learn how to make money. And although I struggled for a long time trying to figure it out, once I figured it out, there was no stopping me.
Well, so it's real simple. So I got to live within my means. Okay, so how do I get my means up to $1 million a year?
Exactly. That was my question.
In mind. Just keep your hands off my means, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so your strategy of choice though is buy and hold. You like being a landlord. You like acquiring properties. You like enjoying the appreciation and the depreciation. What about the downsides of that? How are you managing the phone calls and the tenants and the toilets, and how do you get peace with that?
Well, from day one, we actually very early on partnered with a property manager, because we knew we wouldn't be any good at that. We were scared of tenants and toilets and all that kind of stuff. And then my daughter actually worked for them, and now she's our property manager. So she handles all of that, and she has staff so that my husband gets some of the maintenance calls, but the rest of it's handled by the team.
Yeah, well, you got to have someone in between you and all that if you're the owner, because one, it's not ever good to be the owner and have to deal with this stuff, because even if you are the owner, don't tell them you're the owner. I learned that a long time ago, because that just gets you into all kinds of issues. You're just the guy that's in charge of managing it for the company that owns them. Yeah. And you can't make certain decisions and you can't do certain things because you just don't have the authority to forgive that late fee. If I can forgive late fees, I get fired. It's not our policy, and I've been told what to do. It takes a little bit of, you can't just have a management. Can you have a management company from just one unit, or do you have to get up to a certain level before you can actually use a management company?
A management company per se, yeah. Because it's going to be more expensive for if you just have a single unit. We get like volume pricing. At this stage, we have all staff on salary, but at one point it was just per door price. And if it was under an apartment building, then the price was even better. So that's kind of our specialty, is dealing in the apartment building world.
How many doors do you have?
We have 522 right now.
Ooh, you're not joking around, Edna. 522?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we better pay attention here. This girl's no slouch. 500. How many people out there, raise your hands, like we can see you guys. Raise your hands out there if you'd like to have 520 doors and be a landlord. See, at that volume, you can pretty much, you got people to handle all the different things, maintenance guys and stuff. You got enough volume to get the help that you deserve. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And I tell anybody who's wanting to scale their business, they have to start with property management, because if you get drawn into that day-to-day stuff, you won't have time to grow. Absolutely not.
Yeah. And the money's made when you buy. You know, the buying the things where the money's made. So anything not having to do with the acquisition of the next property is just a drag on your way to where you're going. You're just getting slowed down. It takes a little while to figure that out, especially when you start out, and everyone starts out as a one-man show, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's things you can delegate quickly. Servicing, if you're an owner financier like me, I owner finance houses. That's the other side of the coin. I'm always teaching the difference between landlording and owner financing. Not to say one's better than the other. It's just I chose the other side of that coin because of
people like
they're both good plans, and you know, never know. But yeah. I think though, when the gurus are out there talking about landlording, they just gloss over the bad parts. Like they don't talk a lot about the things that really happen more often than you'd think. And they don't teach you how to handle that downside. So you go in there thinking, okay, I'm collecting 1,000 and I owe 600, so I'm going to clear 400 a month, right? So that's $4,800 a year. Bullshit. That you just acted like nothing was going to go wrong in that whole house for the whole time, and no one was ever going to move out. No one was ever going to break a window, or you know. So, you have a book out. Does it talk about the whole business as a whole?
Not really. You know, when I wrote that book, it was like 6 years ago. So it was before we got fully involved in the multifamily like we are. I was writing more about multiple ways to wealth. Like there's so many ways to become wealthy, starting with your mindset. And that was kind of my premise back then, before we even got into specializing in apartment buildings.
Okay, so, and that's a great place for people to start. What's the name of the book?
Multiple Ways to Wealth.
Multiple Ways to Wealth. And so you start out living in subsidized housing, and you start to change your mindset, and you disregard what people are telling you or who you can be and how you can be. And you end up writing this book, Multiple Ways to Wealth, because it's true, right? There's so many ways to make money. It's almost unbelievable. Why they're not teaching this stuff in school, I have no idea.
I agree.
You know, they teach you how to add and subtract, and then they throw you out there like somehow that's going to make you some money. And so I want you guys to get a free copy of this book. You just have to pay the shipping and handling. It's a great value. She certainly shouldn't have to pay to get you a book. So why don't you pay the shipping and handling? Go to reinvestorsummit.com/Edna, EDNA. Move your head there just a little bit so we can see your name spelled right there. Move your head just a little bit, Edna. The other way. There you go, Edna. See, that's Edna right there. Edna Keep. All right. And so go to reinvestorsummit.com/Edna and get a free copy of your book over there. You also teach a course. Tell us about what that's about.
You know, that kind of came about organically, Mitch. People were watching us when we joined. We took our training through the Rich Dad Group, and within 18 months, we had 50 doors. And people kept asking me, how'd you do that? How'd you do that so fast? There were people in our group that 3 years later had not even bought a property. And so I just kind of figured there's something that people are wanting to learn from me. So let me take my story and build it into a course. And that's basically what I did. I talked about how we started, how we were able to scale, all that sort of thing. And that's what I teach people.
Okay, so if you guys want a free consult about that course, also go to reinvestorsummit.com /Edna, and there'll be a link there to get a free consult, and she'll explain to you what all's involved. And if you're wanting to get into the multiple door business, might be a great place to start. It doesn't hurt anything to talk to Edna. It doesn't cost anything to talk to Edna. Just talk to her. Maybe you'll connect. One of the best things in the world is to find the right mentor for you. I had one. I got unlucky a couple of times, and it's the same story. So don't think if you've paid for some help one time and didn't get what you paid for, or weren't satisfied, don't feel like you're the Lone Ranger. It happens all the time. I get calls all the time. Some of these people are spending 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 and are very dissatisfied. But don't feel like you're the Lone Ranger. If that's you that I'm talking to, you can't stop there because you haven't found the right mentor. You have to find the one. And that one's going to make the 80,000 back that you spent and more. You just got to find the right one.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
that's one of the reasons why I have consults too. I want to find out if the person on the other end of the phone, if I think I'm the right person for them, because I don't want to take the money from someone if I don't think that I'm going to help them. And the other thing that I do a lot different is I don't sub out my coaching to a student. When I'm doing one-on-one, you're talking to me. And so I can't take very many people. You know what I mean? I can take 15, 17 a year maybe, because I want to have a life, and I got a big life. So is your course all online? Is there personal mentoring? Do they have access to you, or what? How are you doing?
I structure it as a 12-module program, which is all online. But once a week we get on a group call, and that's where all the live mentoring happens. And I offer that as a backup to my program for a whole year, because I realize that you won't always buy your first multifamily in the first 90 days.
Yeah. And you can't get halfway into this stuff and be successful. You got to get immersed. You got to immerse yourself, get around people that have done it. That's the number one thing. Get around people that have done it. I mean, if you hung around people that bought apartment complexes all day long, you couldn't help but buy one sooner or later. I mean, you just can't. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
We're a product of our environments. So when you want something, get in that environment and stay in it as often as you can. You're very your energy just like radiates like right through the screen. Have you always had this energy, this smile, and this vigor for life?
Yes, I just didn't always know how to channel it.
That's a trick, right? So let's talk about that. Like, what were you doing channeling it, and what's the difference now? That's a good question.
You know, I was negative when I was younger. I even though I had the drive, knowing I wanted to get there, I took many twists and turns to get there. And I blamed people for my challenges, and I was one of those people signed up for courses, didn't work for me, and they're terrible. And, you know, so I learned to take 100% responsibility for my life. And since then, that's when everything has really skyrocketed for me. And I've been able to channel that energy into helping other people as well, because I'm sure you get as much satisfaction out of your students doing well as you do out of yourself doing well, right?
Well, at this stage of my life, I'm 58. Money's not my issue. Money's not my problem. I just found if I didn't charge money for it, I didn't get what I wanted out of the relationship. What I wanted was to see somebody go in and fire their boss. That's what I wanted to see. That was my emotional high, was being a part of something that allowed a guy to walk in and say, you know what, boss, I don't need you no more. You're fired.
Yeah.
And so when I wasn't charging, no one was doing anything. So I told somebody, says, look, I'm doing this coaching, but I'm not being effective. Like, no one's doing anything. They said, tell me about it. And I said, I'm doing it for free. They said, there's the problem.
Yeah.
You got to set a gate that certain people are going to crawl over. And the people that crawl over that fence, which is the price, are the ones that are serious enough to get what you want out of it, which is the emotional high of helping someone better themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's not all about the money. That's why I have those interviews like you do, the little consultant call. I don't want to sign up with someone who I don't think is going to make it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I won't ever say it like that. You're not going to make it. I'm not going to take you. I said, what I suggest is Why don't you just do the $3,500 a year weekly call and let's buy a couple of houses and show yourself that this business is for you. And then at that point, when you're sure this is the business for you, maybe the house will pay for the money, pay for the course, and try to get it paid for from the houses, instead of you going and get it on your credit card or something, Let's break it down and let's come along that way and see if this business really, you and this business are a fit. If you are, and you buy a couple of houses and I see you really doing well, absolutely. But I don't think you're ready to spend $15,000 on me right now. You know what I mean? And I've told a lot of people that. Yeah. And I really don't teach newbies to begin with. Like, I'm not really here to help you learn how to write a contract or to figure out how to make an offer. I'm really there for people that, the last people I talked to, they had already done 20 or 30 houses. They just wanted to know how to go into owner financing, or how to shortcut some of their processes, or how to free up some of their time. They were already doers, and they'd already proven that they were doers.
Yeah.
So I think that we both agree. The student that you're looking for is the one that is going to win,
I like you, and I don't usually deal with beginners. Most people come to me after they've got some experience, a few properties, and now they just want to learn how to scale and take it to a bigger level using investor capital, that sort of thing. And one thing I want to point out with the long-term buy and hold that a lot of people forget about is our mortgage pay down. We're at $25,000 a month in mortgage pay down, and we've been doing this for 12 years. Where else can you get that to happen for you?
And there's little tricks to pay down mortgages faster than normal, right? That don't hurt a lot. There's a lot of little tricks. One of the guys, there's a guy that talks about all these money hacks. I'm not going to remember his name. I interviewed him. Anyways, he had some money hacks on cutting mortgages down to nothing that was just unbelievable. And it could really change a person's life. You take a 30-year mortgage or a 20-year mortgage and cut it down to 8 or 10, and it's not really that painful. You know what I mean? To get it done. So,
yeah.
I guess if we were just starting out, what advice would you have for people that were just contemplating taking control of their financial future?
Well, you actually nailed it right on the head a few minutes ago. You said get around like-minded people, because you can't help but, it's like a rising tide. You can't help but do the things that you're looking to do. You gotta be around people who are doing what you want to do. If you want to buy a multifamily, get around people that are doing that. If you want to own or finance, get around people that are doing that, because it's like, that's what you do every day. And it's like another language to some people, and they got to learn that language.
And you got to find out what turns you on and what turns you off, and get in the niche that you're excited about, that you feel like you're good at, or that you, for some reason, you're drawn to it for some reason. I never woke up and said I wanted to be a house owner. I just accidentally bought a condo to live in, and then it was a 1-bedroom efficiency condo, and I owned it, and it was nice because for once in my life I could say, if you don't like it, you can leave. It's my house. But then there was a 2-bedroom down the way, and I bought it, and no one was financing condos at the time, so I owner-financed it. I leased it. And then I leased the 2nd bedroom for a roommate. And then I noticed by accident that, hey, I was not only living for free, I think I was making potentially $50 a month. And
yes.
to have 2 houses, I thought, well, that's, I'm not very smart, Edna. Everything has to hit me in the head with a bat. So I'm like, oh, what is this? I think I discovered a new business, real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I found out there were hordes and hordes of books on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Carlton Sheets, and back in the time, and Dave Delgado, and half those guys went broke, but it wasn't because the theory was bad. They were just bad money managers. You know what I mean? I don't think Carlton Sheets went broke, but I know a lot of those guys, some of them went to jail for doing things they weren't supposed to do, but it wasn't because the theories were bad. They just had character flaws, either financially or morally. So I kept taking in all those things and all those ideas, and kind of just morphed my way into seller financing. So my way is like a way of having cash flow, but without having the liabilities. But my way is temporary because that note's going to expire,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So how much do you think your houses have earned your financial statement in appreciation?
Oh, that is so hard to say, because you know what? My accountants don't even put that on our net worth statement. They don't even count it. They count what we purchased it for, and then mortgage pay down each year from there. So
That always
that's hard.
pisses me off. You're like, they put the value, but they said my net worth the other day was like, this little number, and it was actually 16 times bigger than that, because they were just giving the values of the property is what I paid for them 20 years ago, storage unit. 20 years ago, I bought this storage unit, and now they're assessing its value at what I paid for it. And I'm like, you guys, where's that you coming from? So I went and did my own addendum to add to their certified financials. Like, what they're not telling you is I've owned these properties for 15 and 20 years, and they're now worth millions upon millions upon millions. And the rents don't even resemble 20-year ago rents. And that's the cool thing about rent houses too, right? Even a moderate deal can outgrow moderation into a great deal, right? It can mature as the rents go up.
Our very first no money deal, where we bought a house with none of our own money, we paid $160,000 for it. And, some people might have thought we overpaid, but we got it with none of our own money. 5 years later, we refinanced it or went to got an appraisal or something. And it was only worth about $5,000 more than we paid for it. But the key there was, Mitch, we made $1,000 a month on cash flow from those properties over that 5-year period, with none of our own money in the deal. We paid for the legal fees. That was it, which was about $2,500. That's the key, again, in scaling. It's how much can you buy with none of your own money and make that kind of stuff work for you.
Yeah, the problem, people think they have to have money to do this business. If that's what you're thinking, then you don't understand the business at all, because the art of this business is that you really don't need business. So let me just rattle off a couple of nothing down ways right off the bat. One is get your seller to finance you. Maybe not. Two is I bought my first 100 houses on credit cards. I said, give me, and in my town, I could buy houses for $20,000 and then $10,000 to fix it up. So I have $30,000 when I started 20 years ago. So it was like, give me 10 off this, give me 10,000 off this card, give me 10,000 off this card. I go buy the house. Here's 10,000 for the rehab. I got $30,000 on credit cards, 0% interest or 1% interest, like free money. And then I go and owner finance it for $65,000 with $5,000 down. I put $5,000 in my pocket, and then I go sell my $60,000 note for $45,000 or $50,000 cash. And I go pay I got the $50,000 cash now, because believe me, when you sell the house and sell these notes, there's no liens on them, because I bought them with credit cards. The liens are all in, the debt's all on the credit card. So I get the $50,000 cash in my hand plus the $5,000 down that I collected. So I have $55,000 cash. I take it down. I pay off the $30,000 worth of credit cards, and I keep the $25,000 difference.
Yeah.
Okay, that's one. Another one is get a partner and split half. I could have went and got a financial partner. You put up the $30,000. I found the house. I'll do the work. I'll sell it, and we'll split the $25,000, $1,250 a piece. It's hard to go broke making $12,500 a deal. It's really hard to go broke doing that. Now, where you really go broke is where you won't do a deal because you don't want to split it with anybody. So therefore, you don't do any deals, and so now you get 100% of zero. That's not the way to go.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, we do a lot of joint ventures with people.
Yeah, so when we start out, we're professional deal finders. I like to make up my own words here, Edna. We're professional deal writer-uppers. And so we writer-upper all these deals, and we don't have a damn penny. And we just write all these deals, but we got 45 days to close, 60 days to close, and it's a great deal. After all, you put $30,000 into this, and you can sell it for $65,000. Your job is to be a great deal writer-upper, and then you walk around with your deal over your head, and you start screaming at the top of your lungs, I got a house that can potentially make $35,000 profit. Who wants half?
Yeah.
And then you start talking to the people that show up.
Exactly.
What you tell them is, I have the deal, you bring the money. We split.
Yeah.
So it's not complicated. I mean, and now that you have this mindset that you don't need money, you can make offers on $700,000 buildings. You can make offers on hotels. You can make an offer on anything you want.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It's
You just,
mindset first, because once you get your mindset right, you realize, and you have to have the right mindset to go into this.
and you have to have the right training. You have to know
Yeah.
how to write a contract. You have to understand what you need in that contract so that you can be successful. You need to
Yes.
understand how to present that contract to someone who has the money and explain to them why it's a good deal. They should come.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And
what you do. That's what I do.
your mindset that you believe that you can act, first of all, that you believe others done it, and then that you can do it yourself.
Yeah, one of the ways to really change your mindset is just ride around with a guy and watch him do it. The turning point in my life was when I watched a guy drop off a check to the IRS for $385,000.
Oh, yeah.
He said, will you come with me today and ride with me? And I said, why? He says, I need support. And I said, why? He says, I can't hardly make myself get in the truck. I said, why? I said, I'll be right there. I'll be right there. You know, I thought he was all depressed. I said, what's the matter? What's the matter? He says, I have to take this to the IRS and drop it in the mail today. When I looked at it, it was 385. I said, your taxes are $385,000, and you buy those crappy little houses over there? He said, yep. I said, holy cow, I'm a believer. I'm in. What do you want me to do? Give me your shoes. I'll be there every day.
Yeah, just tell me. Just tell me and I'll do it.
You need a hamburger? I'll run. Where's your dry cleaning? I'll pick it up every day. I just want to be around you, brother. I just want to ride in this seat. I'll wash your car. I'll change the oil. I'll do anything.
Yeah, yeah. And not too many people have that attitude that they'll do whatever it takes to get around the right people, do they?
No. And that's the thing. You got to find the right people as a coach, and you got to find the right coach as a person. Not all coaches are created equal, and you got to find the one that fits you. I always tell people, when you find someone that you think you want to go with, research the hell out of them. Call and ask them if they have any students you can talk to, but really you want to find them on your own, because they're only going to give you the happy students, right? Yeah. So you research them, and then make sure that when you're in your research that they're the kind of person you want to be on and off the field. Like, just because they make good money doesn't mean you necessarily that's the right guy for you, because there's a lot of crappy people that make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And don't be with someone that you want to be like on and off the field. Mm-hmm. That would be my suggestion. Do you have mentors and coaches yourself?
Always. I got my first coach in 1999 when I was a financial advisor, and I've seldom been without one since. And if I am, it's a short period of time while I'm figuring out my next step. And always somebody who's done what I want to do.
Yeah, not talking about it. They've done it. They're there, right?
Or doing it, yeah.
I've heard the theory, you need a bunch of short-term mentors for specific things, not one long-term mentor. You just need to get people in increments. Like, if you're trying to learn how to buy houses, and that's the coach you get today. Then you want to learn how to sell houses, get that coach today. Then you want to learn how to systematize your business or delegate, get someone who owns, that's buying 100 houses a year, that doesn't have to be in an office.
Yes.
I haven't seen the last 350 houses I bought, and I haven't seen the last 350 people that bought my houses. I don't even know what houses I own right now. I couldn't tell you one address. Yeah. I can't tell you one address. I'm set up that way. I don't need to.
No.
My job is to go out and socialize and make sure that we have enough money to fund all of them.
Isn't that a fun job too, Mitch?
Yeah, it's really hard. Last night I ate at Myron's Steakhouse. It was just horrible. Oh my God. They have this nice wine, and they cook this big juicy steak, and I just couldn't hardly stand it.
Yeah.
I'm talking to a guy who's a multi-millionaire who sells water, learning something every day.
Yeah, I love that about, my clients and stuff. You do, and it's just fun getting to know people and seeing what they're up to and the different ways that people are making money and scaling their businesses. It's so exciting.
Well, look, if you guys would like to have a consult with Edna, go to reinvestorsummit.com/Edna, EDNA, right there on the screen. And I'd really like to thank you for taking time to stop by and say hi to the fans and introduce you to the audience. I'm sure some people are going to call you, because if I was out there and wanted to do apartments, I'd call you.
Thank you.
I just would, because you seem like a really nice person, and you don't get to 500 plus doors not knowing something. You got to know something. So I would be very curious to know what you know, if that was my realm. I have also learned, Edna, to stay in my lane. I have this thing I do well, and I stay there and I do the hell out of it every day. And I don't bounce around to all the different things, all that are possible, because there's so many ways to make money that you'll just dilute yourself to nothing. So
yeah, absolutely.
if you're into doing multifamily or collecting rentals, then let's go to reinvestorsummit.com/Edna. And I appreciate you being on.
Thank you very much, Mitch. It was my pleasure.
All right, this is Mitch Stephen with the Real Estate Investor Summit podcast. Be sure to stop by taxfreefuture.com, because you won't believe what your financial advisors are not telling you. If you don't have a tax-deferred or tax-free account that you're growing and postponing taxes or even avoiding taxes altogether legally, then you don't have any idea what you're missing. You've got to check into it. Taxfreefuture.com. All right, guys, we're out of here. Bye.